Hello, ladies and gents, Falcon here, and welcome to Mythos, a show where we do some theory crafting, have some fun, and get down some thoughts on what we would like to see for the next god to come out for Smite, or maybe sometime in the future, which is basically the same thing. Let me start off by stating that I have no affiliation with Hi-Rez beyond being a fan of their games, so yeah, kind of got to mention that. Things that I mentioned could happen by chance, and yeah. Nothing more. I don't work for them. Don't think I do. Okay, but today we're going to talk about Hunipu. Lovely name. One of the Mayan twin heroes. To make a long story short, his brother is Xibalanque, who avenged their father and uncle by humiliating the gods of death through wit, cleverness, and being badasses. He was an expert shot with a blowgun and a player of Mesoamerican ball, which has many forms nowadays, varying from hitting a large rubber ball with your hip to using wrapped arm guards or sort of like volleyball. Some aspects of the game they would use giant rocks to hit the ball with. As far as appearance goes, he's a twin brother of Xibalanque, so he'd look kind of like him in a way. Takes away a little of the originalness, but he wasn't as much of a hunter, so where Xibalanque is real kind of crouchy and, like that. He was more represented like a king almost. It was kind of, what little we know about him was kind of like that. Other than that, he had black spots, which kind of symbolized that of a corpse, so that's kind of where they figured he became the god of the underworld and of the moon. Alright, but let's go ahead and talk about some theory crafting. At the top of my head, I came up with two different ways to do Hunipu. The first being a Mesopotamian ball player. So yeah, this has a few challenges that come with it. So here's my thoughts, toss them out. You guys, give some feedback if you even care. But anyway, so he would be a melee carry. I'm thinking with the wearing Mesopotamian, why do I keep saying that? Mesoamerican, kind of old school gear for the game. I was thinking with the rocks on his hands, and arm guards even. And he would melee attack with the arm guards. And then we would go into his other stuff. So for his passive, we have Score. Very simple name. Of course, everything, numbers and names, subject to change, but, So Score, with exclamation mark, all caps. Each successful hit increases Hunipu's attack power by 10% for up to 3 stacks, and goes away after Hunipu misses the ball, or 10 seconds of not being used. Okay, so this is really going to go off of his number 1. So his number 1 is hip shot. Hunipu tosses the ball up in the air, striking it with his hip at a targeted location. Enemies hit with the ball are inflicted with nasty bruises and bleed for X amount damage over 5 seconds. Okay, so the way it would work is he would do hip shot. The ball would go over, hit him, and then bounce back. He would then hip shot again where the ball is going to land, and it would give him a little buff. This is the easiest way I could think to do this. So it gives him a little buff that lasts 3 seconds, and if the ball hits near him when the buff is up, it would then hit the ball back, stacking up the attack power buff. Simple enough, right? So let's go into his number 2, Forearm Strike. Hunipu hits the ball with his forearm in a straight line, does more damage per stack of score, and causes you to lose your score buff. So the thought is you would build it up to 3, then you would Forearm Strike to do not only the additional 10% damage from the score buff, but also you got the 30% extra damage, but also it would have a modifier to increase the damage per score. You could use it to finish off a player if you needed to. Think of it kind of not like a spike, like volleyball. I guess maybe kind of like a spike from volleyball. That's more hand, but whatever. Could be hand. So let's go on to number 3, which is Cheap Shot. Hunipu hits the ball at the enemy's feet, causing them to trip and slowed for X amount of time, and causes X amount of damage. If this ability crits, Hunipu cracks open a calabash fruit and drinks it, healing himself for X amount of health, and increases his movement speed by 30% for 3 seconds. Score is lost. Bad Hunipu. Bad. Basically, it's very little damage. Mainly it's the slow. But I wanted the damage because I guess it couldn't crit, because abilities don't crit. That could be a problem. Or maybe it could crit. Maybe it could crit. I like the thought of the randomness of the damage being very, very low, like insanely low. But just for the little crit aspect, I guess they could just make it a chance for him to heal himself, because I don't want it to be guaranteed slow and sustain. But I think adding the additional chance for some sustain is kind of nice. His number 4 is Foul Play. Hunipu grows angry and kicks the ball at high speeds and teleports to wherever the ball is, and can kick it a second time. If the ball hits a god, it hits for X amount of damage and applies bruises that bleed until the god is healed. The ball bounces back to Hunipu, smashed, and decreases his attack speed or attack damage for 5 seconds. Alright, so as you can see in the diagrams, how this works exactly. So he would kick the ball, and if it hits a target, it goes through him. Doesn't make sense, I know, but he teleports behind him. Now he gets a few seconds to kick it again, like you get a second to re-aim it. And then you kick it again, and then it'll bounce back to you. So it could be used as an escape. Not a very good one, but it could be used as an escape. It could be used as a damaging ability, which is what it's meant to be. The whole bleed, or whatever, is kind of a... It says bleeds until the god is healed. So a potion wouldn't be able to heal it. Lifesteal wouldn't be able to heal it. Maybe a potion heal would heal it, but lifesteal wouldn't. Or maybe there would need to be a threshold applied, so that lifesteal could heal it. It's kind of a ability. I don't know. It sounds cool in theory. Maybe the amount of damage it does on the initial hit would be more. The initial first hit, and then the second hit applies the bleed. I don't know. But let's go ahead on to thought number 2. So the second thought or makeup would be that of the mystical side of Xbalanque and Hunipu. He'd still be melee. Actually, no. You know what? No. I'm going to revise this right here. He's going to be ranged, and instead of using bolas, he's going to use his blowgun. Sure, works better. Maybe. I don't know. So anyway, his passive would be Death Pact. You receive 1 AP for every death you witness, and resets on your death, stacking up to 40 times. This works on minions. His number 1 would be Snipe. Hunipu pulls out a blowgun and fires off a poisonous dart that deals large amounts of physical damage over 5 seconds. A lot more than what Xbalanque would do with his poison darts. This is a single target hit. It would only hit gods or large minions. I'm sure that they can do that. Pretty sure they can distinguish large minions or something like that. That should be possible to do. I wouldn't see why they couldn't. It's a theme, I guess. Number 2 is the Calabash Smash. Oh. Hunipu pulls out a calabash fruit and smashes it on his target's head, causing X amount of damage and stuns the target. If the attack crits, again, Hunipu drinks the fruit and heals himself for X amount of health. Alright, now this is where that's pretty, it's a stun, it does some damage. Does maybe some healing. But here's the part where we interact with things a lot more, and where the mystical side really kind of comes out. Okay, so I'm going to explain 3 and then 4, and then explain how 4 affects everything. His ults, of course. Alright, seeds. Plain and simple. Didn't have any certain name. Hunipu tosses some seeds at a targeted location. At first, the seeds do nothing more than slow the target that runs through them. Very, very, 5% slow. Okay. And then we got 1 growth. Growth won't make sense until we talk about the ult. 1 growth will cause them to do damage when enemies run through them. And it slows them. Same amount of slow, 5, 10, 15, 20. Going up as you rank up the ability. Alright, 2 growths will cause them to grow into a small wall, preventing normal passage. Very small. About half the size of Onher's pillar. At 3 growths, the wall expands, making narrow chokes impassable. 3 seeds can be placed at a time. This is a reed wall, by the way. So yeah, after 2 growths, when it turns into a wall, they are in fact attackable. They will have a set amount of health, similar to... well, I don't think we have anything in the game like it, do we? Kind of like his Vulcan's turrets. It'll have a percentage of his health will go over to him. Now, the ultimate difference being they're permanent until destroyed. Friendly targets can destroy them too, which could be used for trolling, but anyway. The thought of this is to kind of control the flow of the jungle. This would make it, he could set up 3 of them and block off a large choke. Meaning the enemy team will have to break it down. It also gets its protection as well, because, yeah, it needs something. Or maybe it'll have an X amount of protection and health, I don't know. Something similar to that. Now, as I said, we gotta talk about his ultimate, which is growth. Buffs your target, making them larger and stronger for 20 seconds. Also, if no target is chosen, you will grow. You will grow the size and strength. If you seeds a target, it'll cause them to grow. It can be used on minions as well. So you can grow your frontline minions so that they don't die so easy. So yeah, targeting system would be ground target. So if you drop it and there's nothing there, it'll just cast it on you because it's intelligent enough. So yeah, and if the seeds or minions are chosen, the cooldown is reduced to 20 seconds. It would normally have a minute cooldown. This is a substantial buff, not like a minuscule buff. It'd be a good buff, So yeah, I don't know which one I like more. But they're both good setups, so let's see. The thoughts behind the setups are controlling your enemies by laning them. Closing off lanes can have various effects in the way you engage, and other things go down. Hunipu can move freely through the walls as well. So that's kind of cool. He'd be a good support or solo laner because he could block off things so he can't be easily ganked. Snipe could be used to pick off wounded targets or just harass. Calabash Smash gives some sustain, a decent stun for getting away or locking a player down. And really that's about it. So you guys let me know what you think down below. Wrapping this shindig up, I guess I should tell you, feel free to subscribe if you like this. If you would like to have me kind of go over a certain religion, pantheon if you will, for example, you come up with an actual African pantheon that is there, and I can look at them and see if anything looks interesting. DNTs, demons, things of mythological proportion is really what Smite is. But because I don't have anything, the next guy we will be discussing is, I'm gonna slaughter this name and some people are gonna be mad. Hachimia? Hachima? I don't know. He's the Japanese god of warriors and archery. And for any League of Legends players, I might wind up having to throw some things back at you. But I will throw this out right now. Hachima is... he's kind of like Jace from League of Legends. Just saying, guys. Just saying. Thank you for watching.